Right, good evening and welcome to the latest live police and community tasking meeting for Selly Oak Ward. I'm PC Paul Jones, and with me this evening is Councillor Brigid Jones. Hello. We also have PCSO Carl Barrington in the audience, acting as our online facilitator, a role which I will explain in a moment. Thank you to everyone who's joined us here at Exeter Road, Selly Oak, and also to those of you joining us online. I'd also like to thank Selly Oak Church for the use of their venue tonight. Can I remind everyone in the audience that this meeting is being broadcast live via the internet, so please refrain from using bad language, and when you have a question or comment, please keep this to the point. For our online audience, you can get involved tonight using the hashtag #AskSellyOak via Twitter to ask a question or make a comment. In regards to the facilitator role that PCSO Barrington is conducting, he will put online questions to the panel, support the panel in answering these questions, update our social media as the meeting progresses, and provide key messages from the force and also the LPU. For tonight's agenda, we have updates from the previous priorities from the last meetings, the crime and ASB update for the ward, any questions given either online or the audience here, the priority setting, and also any other business. First off, we'll start with the priority updates. Number one, we had was begging on the Bristol Road in Selly Oak. From the tasking meeting back on the 24th of November 2014, you said that there are regular incidents of aggressive begging occurring outside or near to Dixie Chicken, Bristol Road in Selly Oak, causing local residents concern regarding their safety and for those involved. Our commitment to you is we will work with this offending. We will work with both partners to ensure all means possible are used to resolve this offending. For that, January this month, we have identified the key offenders who had also set up a temporary encampment underneath the aqueduct crossing the Aston Webb Boulevard, which is the new Selly Oak bypass. These offenders have been required to disperse from the area, and the encampment has been tasked to be removed by the BCC Highways team, as it poses a risk to pedestrian and vehicular traffic should it remain. Number two priority was speeding on Reservoir Road, Gibbons Road, Selly Oak, which was from the tasking meeting on the 22nd of December 2014. You said that there are cars regularly speeding along Reservoir Road and Gibbons Road in Selly Oak. Regarding an update to that, PCSO Wayne Lawrence has been conducting patrols along both Reservoir and Gibbons Road. He's put in a request for traffic data strips to be placed on both roads. This will enable us to gather evidence in relation to the speed of the vehicles using the roads, which will then be used for a more long-term solution to the problem. Just remember, if you're watching online, you can get involved tonight using the hashtag #AskSellyOak via Twitter or Facebook to ask a question or make a comment. The current policing priorities. Number one, we have burglary dwelling in the Selly Oak Bournebrook area. As you will hear in a moment, we've achieved some really significant reductions in this crime type during the past few months. However, the risk remains, and our work to prevent further crimes will continue. Number two is robbery, also in Selly Oak, the Bournebrook area. Again, this was a threat earlier in the year, back in 2014. And although we have seen reductions in the area and have made some really significant arrests, this remains a priority as we head into February. And just a little note on there, some good news stories. Officers have worked extra hours over Christmas and in January, targeting the Bournebrook area to reduce burglary, public place violence and begging. Regarding the public place violence, with assaults, public order offences, etc., they've reduced by 12.5% year to date and by 30% since the 18th of October 2014. This was when the pubs and also the guild at the university began using breath kits on entry, and that was when the hashtag Deep Breath runs until the end of the year. Full analysis of this initiative will be completed and published later in the year when all the data is available. Now we move on to the updates for crime and ASB for the period of December-January of this year. The burglary dwelling in December 2014, we've had no change compared to 2013, where we've had 9 offences, the majority in Bournebrook. The main method basically comes from insecure doors, both front and rear. So it stresses the importance of locking doors, not just closing them behind you, and also making sure your gates are locked and not closed. Put this into context, it's actually a 42% reduction in burglary dwellings between September and December 2014, with 32 fewer houses being burgled. And to January 2015, we have a 25% reduction compared to 2014, where we've only had 6 offences, 2 of which were in Bournebrook. It's a different method to insecure entries overnight, where offenders are using flat roofs and smashing windows to gain entry, or forcing older wooden doors. So it's been a good start to the year so far. In regards to robbery, December 2014 saw a 40% reduction compared to 2013, where we've had 3 offences compared with 5. The offences are isolated and haven't been part of a series. It stresses the importance of personal safety and awareness when out and about. One of the offenders is due to be charged in the near future after the investigation has been completed. In January 2015, there's been a 66% decrease in regards to robbery, where we've had 1 robbery offence compared to 3 that we had last year. This was basically a delivery driver targeted for parcels and possibly his vehicle. The investigation is still ongoing into this and other similar offences, also on the Birmingham South LPU. For the year to date, it shows a 25% decrease, with 9 less victims of this crime than this time a year ago. Now we move on to vehicle crime. It continues to fall across the board, with a 38% reduction so far in January 2015, and year to date at 17.4%, with 24 fewer victims of vehicle crime. There's no pattern, but vehicle registration plates are still being stolen, along with easily removable car parts. Now on to antisocial behaviour. In December 2014, we had 21 calls for service in relation to antisocial behaviour, which were mainly loud parties in the Bournebrook area. This is similar to last year's call levels. It's a 12.5% decrease compared to this time last year that had 24 calls. In January 2015, basically had 25 calls for service for this year. In January, where we had 28 calls for service the same time last year as well. And put it for the year to date of last year, we had 77 calls for antisocial behaviour in the Bournebrook area. Of these calls, 17 of which received verbal warnings, 63 received level 1 warnings, 8 of these received level 2 warnings, and 2 of these being referred to the university and the council for level 3 warnings. So remember, if you're watching online, you can get involved tonight using the hashtag #SellyOak via Twitter or Facebook to ask a question or make a comment. And that's the time where I look to the audience for any questions.
Could you give me the figures again for the antisocial behaviour? That it's something that comes up in the street very often, to be able to use some figures to show that you've actually implemented the procedure at different levels to, as such as the level 1, and also something referred to the university.
That's right.
Could you just give me that again?
Yeah, the figures we have for the whole of last year, we had 7 in regards to antisocial behaviour in the Bournebrook area. 17 of which verbal warnings were given. We've had 63 of these who were given level 1 warnings.
Yes.
8 of which proceeded to level 2 warnings. And then 2 have been referred to the university and the council for level 3 warnings.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We'll see if there's any questions on Twitter. Not any. Okay. Any questions from the audience? Yes.
I just want to ask whether you could comment on what the latest is regarding following the graffiti, the mosque, obviously, and there's a different team that deals with the university campus area. And maybe Councillor Jones would engage some reaction to the quite shocking graffiti that was found in the area. I know police are working with the local community after that.
Yes, regarding that, the matter is still currently being investigated. Obviously, I can't go into details. We've got good relationships with the imam at the actual mosque itself, and we will continue to work with them to try and catch the offenders for this.
But from the council's point of view, it's incredibly sad that somebody would want to do that in our community and on the university campus. We're really worried about it because obviously there have been the recent events in recent weeks, but I'm sure the police are I know the police are working hard on it to get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
And also offering support to the mosque as appropriate.
Any further on that?
Another question. I know that I talked to PC Andy Smith at the start of the year, and he said one of the biggest concerns was bike crime in the area. I know people that have bikes stolen in Selly Oak. I know that a bike was found quite recently. I don't know what advice you could give with regards to bike crime and how things are going with the sort of chasing up that aspect of crime.
In regards to bike crime, the main advice that we can give students in the area is basically lock your bike up. It's as simple as try and buy the best lock that you can afford. A lot of these locks have safety ratings on them now, and the higher the better from our point of view. And when you are locking them, try and lock them to something like a fixed structure as well, not something that can just easily be removed that's actually softer than the lock itself, so to speak. We work closely with the university officer for certain patrols and projects that we're doing in relation to bike crime, because I see that it's an issue on the unit. In regards to Selly Oak itself, we don't have that many reports of stolen bikes at the moment that come through to us, but when we do, we will look at sort of different ways of dealing with that. And again, as using sort of sites, immobilised property registering, make sure you've got the ID numbers of your bike. So if any bikes are found, then we know where to take them back to. For instance, we found a bike, it was left in Selly Oak that was believed stolen last week, and we've tweeted it out. We've checked on our database, and we've been unable to find an owner as of yet.
Okay, because I was just wondering, sometimes when police find goods suspected to be stolen, they find it tends to lead to other stolen goods. So that's the case. Could I ask another question?
Yep.
About there have been some instances in the past year where a burglary has happened, where the door has been locked, and obviously the best advice is always lock your door, lock your windows. Your property can't be accessed. You did mention that some old wooden doors can be vulnerable. I don't know what the advice would be. You know, if once you've locked your door, and also are there any particular types of doors that are more vulnerable? Because I have I think it's called PVC. I don't know if they're sort of more vulnerable, and students and should look at asking their landlords to check to see doors are as secure as possible.
Yeah, we had, I believe there's an incident at the end of last year where there was a specific method with a certain PVC type door where if you closed it, although it locked behind, but it didn't put the deadlocks at the top and the bottom of the door, and the offender in this instance was able to easily just pop it and open the door, gain entry. So we targeted all of these houses in the Bournemouth area to give the residents advice as to not just put it behind them, but to actually physically lock that door to enable the deadlocks, making it a lot harder for people to gain access like that. So that's something that we did. In regards to the wooden doors, the only thing we can say is obviously speak to your landlords and just see if you can upgrade the door or anything like that, if there's anything they can do, if it poses a risk. I believe we've also got crime reduction trained officers who can come around and assess and provide advice on what areas of the house could need improving in terms of security. So that's another thing that we could look into doing.
That was I think Gareth does.
Sorry?
That was I think Gareth does. Gareth, I've got his surname. He's a security man who inspects buildings. And
No, I don't believe he's. Yeah, I remember. I don't think he's doing it anymore. Is he on here? But I believe I need to find out the officer's name, and if there's anyone who wants to just let us know, I think we can come around and just have a look and see what could be done to that house in particular, if it's at risk of being burgled or anything like that.
All PCSOs can come out and done the training, and also you can, if it's a student house, they can contact the guild, the wardens, and they can come out and do their security checks as well.
of course, the wooden doors, they have the key on the where the bolt goes into on the frame, but they usually have perhaps quite short screws. They could easily put heavier and longer screws into those too, because that part of it could be pushed off quite easily. Instead of the length of the screws,
But that's it, and I mean you can always purchase additional locks for the door as well, which would help. And I mean, as we've been doing since the start of the term last year, we've been going around every address in the Bournemouth area, providing the our resident engagement packs, which consist of door alarms, window alarms, and installing these, which sort of help for added security as well. Okay. We got any questions on Twitter? No. Anything else from the audience?
My number don't seem to balance. Might be maybe I can't add up, or maybe some smart aleck in the street. I'm surprised. It said 77 call left, and I got 17, 63, 8, and 2. That seemed a lot more than 67.
Yeah, I believe some of these may have come through, not just from the telephone, but obviously have been spoken to either a PCSO or PC directly, which obviously hasn't been recorded, and then obviously some of the level 1 warning proceeded then on to a level 2, so that would have counted as the same call for service. So that's the only thing I can imagine there, but that's the figures I've got in front of me, so I'm just reading from that.
I've got a couple of bits to bring up that various residents associations brought up recently. The first one is around, it's a graffiti issue. Is around, if I can find my email, they're in Staff Pub at the end of the road there and around the Superloo that is just around the corner from there as well. About that happening over the weekend.
So that's graffiti, that's by the bus stop there, isn't it?
Yeah, just around there.
And is there any specific mention of what type of graffiti?
That's what I'm trying to find.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I mean, I'm not aware of that myself, unless Carl, you've we'll put down to have a look. And
also in that same area at the same time, we've had reported vandalism of shop windows and car windows over the weekend, and they wonder if they're linked. So that's the Frederick Road, Bristol Road.
I think we had two incidents, one on Oak Tree Lane, and I believe it was a shop window that was damaged, and then also there was a vehicle parked on Bristol Road outside one of the shops that suffered damage. At the moment, we're looking into both incidents to see if they're linked, and it's currently being investigated, and we will update with any developments regarding that.
Okay, that's fab.
Okay, in regards to the graffiti, obviously we'll put that into our patrols. We'll have a look, because we do have a database of lots of tags and graffiti in the area, and we'll see if we can link it up to any known offenders, and we'll deal with it from there.
Fantastic. The second one I've had in from the end is, I'm interested to know if you've got any, had this raised with the neighbourhood watch, is around temporary traffic lights on Cartland Road. And cars coming out of there, getting confused about the road layouts and ending up going the wrong. And I've had concerns raised that it's an accident waiting to happen around there.
Right.
I don't know if you guys had anything at the neighbourhood watch around it.
Going past our road, there's two big holes in the Percher Road now off the Snoop Club. And hence no traffic goes past it.
Yeah.
Off the circuit is brilliant. You can come and go quite freely. To be fair. But we had nothing at all from there, just
Okay.
that's a really small traffic jam on Percher Road that people complaining about.
Yeah, it's people going from Allwoods to Ribblesdale, apparently, the wrong way.
Going on the wrong side of the, this is an ongoing thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It isn't new at all. It's been mentioned so many times where you go down Walls Lane and you go on the wrong side of the keep left side to get to turn into Ribblesdale Road. And you pick whichever side of the keep left side you want to go on in Ribblesdale Road. And they're doing that all the time. But of course, we're coming to the B&B. It's just people just going down the street anyway.
I know about, and I mean, in my opinion, it is clearly signposted which way it should be going. I've never had any problems with that junction. I don't know if there's anything else that done to make it more clear, to be honest.
No, it was just concerns around the new, temporary traffic lights are exacerbating the problem.
Do we know how long those works are going to be done for?
I don't know. Yeah, but I can probably find out.
But I do think we finish up on the filling in the whole most completely film is covered over completely. So we are obviously coming towards the end of that. But then a week, 2 weeks, when you're waiting in the traffic jam every night is a long time.
Right, thank you. Any further questions?
The only other one I've had raised is the turning into the Kitchener Road estate. You're not allowed to make certain left turns off the Bristol Road, not the Bristol Road, the Pershore Road into it, and you're not allowed to make certain right turns off the Dogpool into it. I'm quite a new driver, so I'm learning about these things as I go. No, but I finally know about the road layouts that other people have been talking about. I used to be the bus whiz before, and Karen did all the driving queries, and I do all the bus and public transport queries, and now I can finally do both. I've had complaints again because I've been out in that patch recently from residents about people doing that ongoing. I know you're keeping an eye on it, but they asked me to raise it, so I'm passing that on.
Okay, yeah, that has always been an issue,
Yeah.
and it's a case of whenever it's been raised, whenever our PCSOs and also PCs have any downtime from the other patrols, they do regularly go to that junction and they do give tickets out to anyone who are doing left turns off the Pershore Road into Kitchener and also right turns off Dogpool Lane. Again, it's all clearly signposted that they shouldn't be doing it. There's signs up on the lamppost, also markings down on the road, and we will continue to do patrols down there, and we will prosecute anyone who fails to conform to these traffic signals.
In our neighbourhood watch first began, one of the funny things that happened was the fact that we did a patrol down in Dogpool Lane and caught a number of people turning right into the streets. And you caught some of the locals doing it, and then they applied to get their money, their tickets cancelled.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not a case of one rule for one and one for the other. I mean, I know it's the residents who have an issue with it, and at the end of the day, it's one of these that they should really lead by example if we're doing it. I think it's a case. I'll raise it with the neighbourhood team that perhaps. When we're on our day shifts, because I think that's when the main problem is during the travelling to and from work, to avoid especially the junctions at the bottom. So I know the traffic builds up on Dogpool, on Dogpool Lane, Pershore Road, and I think that's why a lot of people are doing it. And we'll look at just situating a few of our officers down there, and we'll issue tickets to get the message across again.
The people living in those streets, like Cecil Road and so forth, and if they come from the Moseley King's Heat direction or anywhere behind there, they've got no way to get them, for them to get in legally into their street. It needs a huge roundabout to get somewhere. To come to it.
Yeah, I think the issue we were having before we were giving out tickets, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, we live down there," and to basically like find any proof, they'd go and knock on someone's house and they'll quickly get a ticket and things like that. I think that's what we found was happening as well. And it's a case of what do we do here? Do we be lenient with everyone? Or so I think it's something that we need to look at again and get the message across.
Okay. I had a question about the VP Education at the Guild. I tweeted about your the reduction you mentioned in what was it, violence, on street violence, since the breathalyzer checks started happening at the Guild. He's wondering, is there evidence of a link between the reduction, or is it just a coincidence?
Basically, these results are going to be completely analysed when this project finishes. So at the moment, it's one of those, until we get all these results in and compare it with the data, we can't really confirm that, but it's obviously reduced for a reason, whether it's #depress, and we'll soon find out.
Okay, I'll tweet back.
Okay.
While I'm here, does anyone have anything for council as well? If there's nothing for the police.
Do we have any questions from Twitter?
No.
No. Anything more from the audience for the police? Yeah. Okay. Right, so for the meeting tonight, then we'll set the community priorities. Graffiti around across the roads around. And then we're also going to look at the left and right turns into Kitchener and off Dogpool Lane with regards to right, just at the next meeting, which is at Tuesday, the 24th of February 2015. It's at the Christian Life Centre in Selly Oak, 7 PM start. We'll also be live via our YouTube channel. So that's the end of the meeting.